You got goals, Tom?
Oh, I got goals, Sam. I got Tezuka goals. We just got done talking about uh, The Art of Osamu Tezuka, God of Manga by Helen McCarthy. And I asked Sam, put on our docket of possible topics. Sam, a long time ago, you told me that you came to me in a fervor. This is years ago. I don't know if you remember this. It was like one of our regular calls, and you were just like, Tom, I just started reading Blackjack.
Yeah.
Who who waited to tell me that Tezuka's the best to ever do it? Like that was kind of your feeling. So I wanted to I think why every manga reader should have Tezuka goals on their list, and then we should share some of our Tezuka goals because there's just too much Tezuka to read. Obviously, that's impossible.
We got to narrow it down.
So like you just need a couple goals. You need a couple foothold, tent poles for your Tezuka knowledge because it's just especially English. Like you're never catching up with Tezuka.
No.
So, but what are yours? One, can you take me back to this moment? Do you remember this moment?
Yeah,
of
very
you
vividly.
Discovering Blackjack because I felt like it was eye opening for you, and why it's important that we're doing some Tezuka gold topics here.
Yeah, so I got introduced to Blackjack a few years ago. It was right when I moved down to Kansas City and I started going to the library. And if you remember our library episodes, great collection of manga. And before I found the rest of their manga, they have a separate like adults oriented graphic novel section where there's a bunch of manga there. And it was a small but mighty collection of some cool shit. And one of the volumes I picked up to rent for a couple weeks and to check out was Tezuka's Blackjack Volume 1, which had a just Volume 1, and it's like the first like 10 or dozen Blackjack stories. And I just kind of picked it up because, again, of course I knew who Tezuka was. Tezuka's the god of manga. So I figured as someone who was getting into it, I'm like, I should check this out. I should read this. The guy kind of started the whole shebang, so I should pay my elders some respects. So I remember I sat down later that night or a night or two later after I checked out the book, and I sat down and I read the first chapter of Blackjack, which basically is told, unlike the rest of the Blackjack stories, Blackjack is kind of a tertiary character in the very first chapter. We're kind of introduced to him from like a distance, and we're not really seeing the story from his perspective. Tom, I was fucking floored by this first chapter. I put it down and I couldn't believe how good it was. At this point, I've been reading manga for a while now. I caught up on One Piece at this point. I've read about probably 10 or 11 current, weekly series. I've gone back and done some series from some other magazines. And I was getting into it, and I was like shook by like genuinely, Dom, how like good the storytelling was, how compelling the art was, and then I ended up just reading the rest of the volume that day, and the stories they're like fun medical mysteries, which I know is a very popular style.
But they're pretty informed because he went to medical school, so
exactly.
He actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, there's a level of realism in the writing and in the dialogue that the characters speak, along with like really like moments of, because his art styles, like we talked about it in God of Tezuka, cute and almost like arguably like kiddie, and you take that mixed with like guts and detailed like human intestines and all this stuff, mixed with these more like medical mysteries of a Blackjack who's essentially just like a unlicensed surgeon for hire, that people who are like black market or need to go above board on shit that hire him to do medical procedures. And there's a mix of like an element almost of like supernatural mixed with like the medical procedure, where it's all like it's like true to life. It's like there's a word for this, but it's sort of like a flavor of supernatural that's based on reality, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example of a story that like a Western story that kind of does this. where it feels a little larger than life, even though it's stooped in its some
There's some spirituality going
yeah,
on
like a
in the
little
back. Yeah.
spirituality or like um and the stories were really fascinating and really interesting, and you get the flashback like in the first volume covers a lot of like because each story is fundamentally different, but you get a story of what inspired him to become a surgeon, and the sort of the
There's like an
doctor
ethics here, yeah,
and
right
the
at the
doctor
core of
that
it.
inspired him to do it, and then he's got this assistant like character named Pinocchio, and like her origin story, and you get a story with one of like Blackjack's old flames, and a story with her in the first volume. So you kind of quickly you get like these glimpses of like who he is as like a person.
Yeah,
um
from what I remember, Blackjack is like one of Tezuka's like later masterpieces. Like it's definitely like it's like he's already kind of really well renowned, and then he comes out and it's like, oh, he still got it. Like this
Yeah,
all time fame.
he
Yeah,
cooked like crazy.
yeah.
And I believe there's 8 or 9 volumes
Oh, that's not
localized,
bad at all.
but
Yeah,
there's like three. I think there's like 300 plus Blackjack stories. But
I
it's a
bet.
yeah, and it's a series that's very like I think there's an like it's one of those series that I think there's like an anime movie of one of the arcs or one of the stories, and but outside of that, like there's no like Blackjack anime that there is for like Astro Boy or
Yeah,
Kimba
or
or
like I think recently Pluto got
yeah,
animated, which is a Naoki Urasawa manga, but it's an adaptation of an Astro Boy arc. And so like obviously Astro Boy always gets it's the Mario, it's like it's everywhere, but like there is none of that for this in like a different manga got adapted it so that it could be maybe adapted anime in a more appealing way, because that's a great story. If you want to Tezuka dip the toe, Naoki Urasawa's Pluto is definitely on my Tezuka goals technically, because
yeah.
that's a great series too. Um, so where how far did you get? Did you just read that
I
first
just read
volume?
the first
So it's
volume.
that's why it's goals. Yeah.
Yeah, so the goals would be number one is to go back and read as much of the localized Blackjack shit that I can. And then there's 3 other Tezuka series I would like to sit down and read. The second one on my list is Dororo. Um,
Oh, mine too. That's
yeah,
on my list.
which
Yep.
is essentially about a sort of samurai who loses 48 body parts, and he's basically on a quest with a young boy to get his body back. And it's been adapted into the story's been adapted into the games, and there's a cool PS2 game that's based on the story
There's
of
a lot
Dororo.
of like weird, cool. Like I know Astro Boy and GBA is cool. Like there's some
Treasure, that's
weird.
Treasure. Shout out.
Yeah, yeah. I know, right. There's a weird stuff like that.
And then Astro Boy's also on my list. I would love to sit down and kind of read his Mario Brothers, read
Yeah.
his major success story. And then the last one that's on my list is Phoenix, his kind of life's work that he's written over decades. I'd love to read as well.
I saw the movie, the 1980 movie.
It's based on the
Phoenix, the
second
27th
park. Is it based on the second arc
I
or
don't
the
really
third
know.
arc?
I've only seen the movie, but I thought it was a really interesting movie. Tezuka's so formally interesting and experimental. Like even his manga, like why I think they are so compelling is he has like a director's eye. Like he almost like adds like cinema techniques to his manga that like it's just like really good. Like it's just really good. I don't know what people want. Doro's definitely on my list. The other one is Princess Knight that I've looked
Oh,
at.
that one looks really cool
Yeah.
too.
Um, Blackjack. You've. I would like to read that too, but my main Tezuka goal is I remember that bookstore I told you about where I got the Art of Osamu Tezuka.
Yes.
Well, I go there one day. This day, this is a different day, but I left with every volume of Buddha because they had the whole. Someone must have turned in a whole.
How many are there?
All
How,
there's eight
volumes?
volumes.
8. Okay.
There's eight. I mean, the English one. So this looks like an omnibus. So I don't know how many in Japan, but so 1 through 8 of this printing of vertical comics, and so that is like why that's number one Tezuka goal is because I literally have it all. Like it just is right at my fingertips. I can go and read it. This is obviously like an interesting manga to make because it's like historical, right? It's him like redrawing the story. I don't even know much about, to be honest, like everyone, I'm in the West, we all know about Jesus, but like I actually don't know the like historical story that is told about Buddha. And so like it's like a manga by Tezuka, so it's like obviously great. And I'm like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through volume one. And so, but it's also like I'm also gonna learn something about history. Like
Yeah.
it feels like two birds. Like, okay, that's interesting. Just like blackjack, you might learn a little bit about medicine. Um, there's like a two birds one stone thing for me with that, of like I might learn more about like Buddhism and the origins of it, and also have a very fun, because this is very like what I've read so far, like it's very Tezuka. Like he's not. It's his style, and he's just layering this historical like event onto it. But it really, you like it's written in a way that, because I don't know, it's like this could be something he made up because it feels so Tezuka, like the way he's adapted it. So that was such a good find, because I don't know how I would have collected this otherwise, because they're like 15 each,
Yeah,
I think.
they're pretty thick too. Like that looks like at least 2 to 3 volumes worth
Yeah,
of
so I was like,
story.
I guess I'm just walking out with all 8 volumes at once. I guess that's what I'm doing now. And you know what? No regrets. Yeah, Phoenix is his life work. I've heard a lot about it. It almost feels like it's too ambitious. Um, because he's like, I don't know if he ever even like finishes it completely. Um, the work remained unfinished. Oh yeah, okay, he never did finish it. So it's one of those like, well, I guess that's
I
pretty
think it's
fitting.
still worth I
Yeah.
think it just because he's been doing it, he did it for like 2.5 decades. I think it's worth experiencing
Oh, I
because
want no. It's definitely one I want to read too. I mean, and that's what's funny is like we're hitting the hits here. Like we're not saying like any deep cuts here. These are all
no,
of his
these
like
are
most
all
famous
all
works.
big bangers. Yeah,
But like it's just like
that's why they're
even that
Tezuka goals. Why they're
Tezuka
goals.
goals, because it's like we need. I just feel like that. Okay, if I'm gonna become manga guy, like these are gotta hit at least the hits, the 10 out of 10s, the classics. Because there's some probably really good like underground one niche choices for
Oh,
people that are
I
historians.
bet. I fucking bet.
But one, are those in English? Probably not. And two, like I feel like okay, but you need to get to the big hitters before you continue to dig deeper. Yeah. I don't know, any other Tezuka goals on your mind here?
Right now, those are the major series I want to read. I would also like to find another Tezuka goal would be to discover it or like find a more obscure Tezuka series and read through that and try to make a video on it for people on this channel. I think would be really fun.
Yeah,
Um,
out of the 300 he made or whatever. Yeah.
exactly. There's a lot to go through. So yeah, find
You
one
know,
that's a bit more obscure.
I
I think it
I
could be
feel bad.
cool.
I didn't mention this in the last episode. I want to mention it now. One thing I talked about how influential he was, but like one thing I noticed, like he has a manga called Gum Gum Punch. And I'm like, is that where Oda got like One Piece? And he does like the Son Goku like story. Like
Journey to
there's
the
like
West,
some
he covers.
right, he does that. Like, well, he calls the Son Goku. Like, and that's like based on a famous story that Tezuka didn't invent. But like there are some things like I was reading that history book about him where I'm just like, oh, is that literally how influential he is? Like that, like basic, like pretty much everything we know is somewhat inspired by him
I
in
had to
some
look up Gum
way,
Gum
shape, or
Punch to
form.
see what it was, and it's very funny. I wonder if anyone has stretchy arms in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like the premise of the pirates, but like the name and like oh, would Oda have been familiar with that, as like is that a popular phrase that's that? So like they're like, and that is a deep cut one, I bet. Apparently there's this Tezuka manga complete works thing that Kodansha or somebody published. I would like that. That
Oh,
might
that'd be
be where
cool.
you need to like access some of the more deep cuts, but um I just feel like the more you read about this, the more then you'll appreciate like Dragon Ball. The
Yeah,
more you'll
totally.
appreciate One Piece, because I'm certain there are references and inspirations and plot, tropes that originate with Tezuka that are in these other ones.
Yeah, again, it's like the again, he's not like he's not technically the first person to draw manga, but it's the origin of industry and a lot of tropes and like standards of how storytelling is done in the medium that like it all starts here. It's like the origin
Right.
point. Um
I guess my request would be, if there is deep cuts, you're like, and deep, what is deep? Deeper than Dororo and Zora,
yeah.
and like, and you've read and you recommend, like, to be honest, if there's like a short one, I feel like I
And
could.
he's got a
Yeah,
lot of those
yeah,
too,
I
because
know.
a
Yeah.
lot of them only go for publication for about a year, or they're like one shot style stories. So
Again, he can only do so much. I mean, that poor. Just what did he do to himself? Um, yeah,
but
because I'd be ready to jump in.
but yeah, I want to know your favorite Tezuka stories. Let us know. Let us know any other if there's any other cool books about him beyond the God of manga. We'd love to know. And yeah, stay authentic. Read some Tezuka.